Thank you for joining us as we hit the halfway mark of the week. I'm Jurnee Taylor, and here are the top stories we're following for you now at noon. Unofficial results are in for the special elections that were held this week in Arkansas. A closer look at what failed and by how much in 3 minutes. And as we get ready for a presidential election in a year, we verify questions about what could happen to former President Donald Trump's Secret Service if he were to end up in prison. Plus, the House passes a bill in hopes to avoid a potential government shutdown, what it means and why tensions at the Capitol were high. But first, meteorologist Nathan Scott is back after a quick stop on the morning show this week. Nathan, have you gotten enough sleep? Are you here with us right now?
Good afternoon, Jurnee. What day is it? Where am I? That's how I feel right now, trying to adjust from the morning shift back over to noon and 6:30. But we are starting off the day with lots of clouds. Those clouds have been very stubborn across parts of the state, and we still have a shield of clouds locked in place from the metro down to the south and east, and that's playing a role in the temperature department because temperatures are still in the 50s in Hot Springs, Arkadelphia, but where there's been more sun, temperatures have warmed up into the mid-60s. Talking to you folks in Russellville and also Clinton, it's 61 in Batesville. So these clouds are going to be very stubborn to move out, especially to the south and southeast of the metro. Also a little bit of a breeze out there, about 5 to 10 miles per hour around the east and southeast direction. Temperatures, if you see more sun, you will climb up to 70 degrees. But if the clouds just linger across the region, you're going to be stuck in the mid to upper 60s. I'll let you know if we'll see more sunshine. I'm also watching a cold front head in our direction and a bigger storm system as we go into Thanksgiving week. More on all that coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Well, a high-speed chase in White County led to a man dying after a standoff with police. The White County Sheriff's Office says a deputy tried to pull over Curtis Lindsay Monday night before 9 o'clock. They say Lindsay kept driving, eventually stopping, getting out and leaving the car near the area of Shiloh and Tweedy Road. While on foot, they say Lindsay pulled a gun on an officer and they lost sight of him. Now, K-9 units eventually tracked him to a nearby home. Now, deputies say they tried to convince him to come out, which he did not. Then they say they tried to get through the barricaded front door when Lindsay approached the door and aimed a gun at officers. They say that's when they shot him. The sheriff's office says Curtis Lindsay had outstanding warrants in at least 5 counties. State police is investigating since officers did use deadly force. Police are still reminding us all to be sure to lock the doors of your car when you leave it. There are reports of break-ins recently, and in Little Rock, there's been 63 incidents over the past 7 days. Over in North Little Rock, residents at one complex tell us someone is checking for unlocked doors. So to keep your valuables safe, a simple reminder, don't leave them in the car to begin with, and always check that your doors are locked.
I'd say the biggest thing is just like have each other's back and, just be respectful and mindful of other people's property and personal space.
Now, if you see anything suspicious, both police departments urge you to call them. Well, yesterday we were tracking several special elections across the state. In Pine Bluff, voters rejected a pair of sales tax changes for the second time in 6 months. The unofficial results show 57% voted against renewing a 5/8 cent sales tax. A new 3/8 cent sales tax for police, fire, and public safety was closer, losing by just 203 votes, 53 to 47%. And in Bryant, similar results in their special elections. Voters there rejecting both an advertising and promotion tax and a bond issue for capital improvements. For more election results, you can go to thv11.com. Each of Arkansas's Republican representatives will have Democratic opponents next November, but Representative Steve Womack will have to win a contested primary to get to that point. Republican State Senator Clint Penzo now announcing he will challenge Womack in March. Penzo recently accused the incumbent of losing touch with his constituents. This all coming just weeks after Representative Womack voted against hard-right conservative Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. And in Saline County, a new candidate running for public office next year is already making waves. Patty Hector, the former Saline County Library Director, is running to be on the Quorum Court, the same Quorum Court run by the judge who recently fired her. Well, she's running as a Democrat for District 13, Justice of the Peace. The library's future, a core reason for her candidacy.
I love that library, and there's no way I would stand still and watch them destroy it. I've been through the ringer. I am not worried. There's pretty much nothing they can say to me at this point that hasn't been said. And they've called me a lot of names.
Well, Saline County issued a statement saying, in part, we welcome all candidates to the 2024 election season, and we wish all candidates the best of luck, end quote. Well, in the wake of former President Donald Trump's multiple felony charges, many viewers are wondering if Trump would get Secret Service protection if he's convicted of a crime and goes to prison. Jurnee Taylor is here to verify.
When a former president leaves office, they're granted a Secret Service detail. Former President Donald Trump is facing felony charges in 4 different criminal cases and could be sentenced to prison if he's convicted. Many readers asked if Trump's Secret Service protection would follow him to prison. So let's verify using these sources. This answer is inconclusive. Here's why. Since 1965, federal law says that former presidents and their spouses are given Secret Service protection during their lifetime, unless they decline it. But the law doesn't explicitly state whether the lifetime protection would apply to an incarcerated former president. There isn't precedent either, since a former president has never been sentenced to prison. Bradley Moss, a lawyer specializing in national security, told Verify no one knows for certain what would happen if Trump is sentenced to prison time. Sonny Smith, a former special agent for the Secret Service, said he thinks the agency would be bound to continue protecting Trump in prison unless Congress or the current president makes changes to federal law. But Smith says he thinks it's unlikely Trump would be sentenced to prison at all. And Ronald Kessler, a journalist and author of books about the Secret Service, also says Trump may avoid a prison sentence if convicted due to the challenges of Secret Service protection.
The Secret Service will say, well, we really can't protect him in jail. There's too much of a threat in jail.
With your Verify, I'm Jurnee Taylor.
Well, there is hope for progress today as President Biden and the president of China are scheduled to meet in California. The two leaders will talk face-to-face on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco for the first time in more than a year. This is amid rising tensions. President Biden says a major priority in his meeting with China's president is getting communications back on track. Military communications channels have been cut off since August of last year, following Representative Nancy Pelosi's trip to Taiwan when she was Speaker of the House.
Get back on a normal course of corresponding, being able to pick up a phone and talk to one another if there's a crisis.
The Biden administration says other big topics will include artificial intelligence and cracking down on fentanyl trafficking. Well, some families of those held hostage by Hamas are expected to meet with the State Department's hostage affairs team today. The terror group has more than 200 hostages, including up to 9 Americans. President Biden expressed optimism on Tuesday about a potential deal to free some of those hostages, telling them to hang in there. Republicans and Democrats in the House came together to pass a funding bill to avoid a government shutdown. And while that bipartisanship should normally be a cause for celebration, other tensions among lawmakers boiled over on Capitol Hill. Nicole Killian has more from Capitol Hill.
The bill is passed.
The House overwhelmingly voted Tuesday night in favor of a 2-step bill to extend government funding through early next year. More Democrats supported the measure, with 209 backing it, along with 127 Republicans, a key victory for Speaker Mike Johnson.
Speaker Johnson, how do you feel about the vote, sir?
We're pleased.
The vote capped off a chaotic and contentious day on Capitol Hill.
You look like a Smurf here.
From name-calling at a House oversight hearing.
You've already been proven a liar.
Who's proven me a liar? You?
Yes.
Your word means nothing, Mr. Chairman.
To a beef between former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Tennessee's Tim Burchett, who helped oust him.
Hey, Kevin, you got any guts? Jerk.
Burchett chased McCarthy after he said he was elbowed.
Elbowed me in the kidneys as he walked by.
I did not kidney punch him. I did not shoot anything like that.
You didn't shove him?
No.
You don't buy his explanation?
No, ma'am.
And over in the Senate, former MMA fighter and Oklahoma Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen almost came to blows with the president of the Teamsters Union.
If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect. You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay. Sit down, please.
Senator Mullen said it wasn't personal and he has no hard feelings. Meantime, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz has filed an ethics complaint against former Speaker McCarthy over that elbow incident. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, still ahead, how much is that Thanksgiving dinner going to cost this year? Well, the estimates of a new report when we come back. Nathan?
And we are just about almost a little more than a week away from Thanksgiving. Looks like we'll have some changes in the weather pattern. I'll let you know if there's rain or winter weather or if it'll be sunny on Thanksgiving coming up.